Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
Hi, welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey. You got a really good podcast plan here, don't you, Carol?
Yeah.
We got a great guest, and I'm so excited. We got Nancy Morrison, and she is a really good childcare owner down in Louisiana. We have been to her school, and it is fantastic. It's called the Little School, and it's beautiful. Had a brand new addition, double their size, and she's doing great down there, and she's our guest today. And before we bring Nancy on, I wanted to remind you that tickets are on sale now for our Leverage Conference in Mexico, and that is going to be September 29th to October 2nd. And you need to get your tickets soon. They're going to be going fast. And this is an amazing conference. We have a $1 million guarantee. You're going to learn at least $1 million worth of information. And that's a money-back guarantee that put my money where my mouth is. And it's a 4-day beautiful conference at Riviera Maya, Mexico. Very safe, very wonderful resort, 5-star resort in just south of Cancun, about 30 miles south of Cancun. And just can't wait to meet you. And Carol and I are going to be by the pool every day. We're going to be hanging out by the bars, hanging out by the restaurants. And you're going to be able to spend a little bit of one-on-one time with us if you come. And get to pick our brain and have some fun and make some friends. And it's going to be great. Again, go to childcaregenius.com, go to the conference tab, select the Leverage Financial Conference, and we will, and then go ahead and get your tickets. Every topic that we deal with is going to have some kind of a financial component to it to increase the profitability of your business and help you become a multimillionaire. You excited?
I am.
All right.
Let's get Nancy on the line.
One.
Hi, Nancy. Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Hey, Brian and Carol.
Hi, Nancy. So good to see you. Geez, we haven't seen each other in a whole, month and a half, 2 months?
Yeah.
In a little while.
Yeah.
And we had you on the podcast, quite a long time ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And after the Childcare Genius Live conference, I said, I'm going to get her back on the podcast because you are so amazing, doing a great job down there in Louisiana. And I said, we got to have you back on, share some of your success with our listeners and kind of update on them on what's going on. So, but even though we know you very well, a lot of people or listeners might not know much of Nancy. So why don't you tell us about your background, what your life was like before you started in the childcare business?
Okay, so when I was in high school, I was going to a dentist appointment and drove past a childcare center on the way home. So I was like, I'm gonna go see if they need help for the summer, So I went there and got a job. So that's how I got introduced actually into childcare, was when I was in high school, and I loved it. But back then, and I'd always said, I'd like to open a childcare center. Back then, childcare was really being scrutinized. Things were changing. That's when licensing and everything was going to be coming in. So I didn't do that. I graduated high school and went on to college and got an electrical engineering degree, which was something girls didn't do back then. I was the only girl that graduated my class in the electrical engineering. So that was kind of interesting. And I did that for many years. I worked on top secret projects and stuff like that. So that was interesting. And then when Earl and I decided to have kids, it became a challenge. So we decided that we would adopt. And in the process of going through the adoption procedures, they were saying, well, if you're at home mom, it's better, So, and I was having problems with my boss at the time, who was discriminating against me really big time, thinking that I should work twice as hard as anybody else because I was a girl with the men in the man's industry. So I quit. So I quit, stayed home for about a month, and that wasn't fun. I'm just not somebody to sit and do nothing. So there was a center down the street from me. So I said, well, let me go see if they, if I can go in there and help them. So I went in there and got a job with them. And then eventually she decided that she wanted to retire. So I purchased her center from her and got back into the childcare industry. So that was really nice. But meanwhile, since then, we now have 4 adopted kids, and 2 of my nieces I have permanent custody of. So I always tell people you have to be careful what you pray for, because God has a sense of humor, and you never know what He's going to answer. So He gave us 6, but we were blessed anyway. That's not quite what we were looking for, but that's what we got. So that's how we got
Play the
into
hand you were dealt, right?
Yes, yes.
Interesting story. That is amazing. And I've met a lot of people like, yep, tried the stay-at-home thing. Just not for me.
No.
No worries there. I get that.
We just met somebody who didn't have kids, adopted 6, and then got pregnant.
I've heard of that one too. I actually had a
Yeah.
mother in our center that was going to get a hysterectomy on Monday. She went to the doctor on Friday to get her pre labs done. She came back crying, "I'm pregnant." So that was interesting.
Well, God has better plans, I guess.
That's
He
right.
does. He does.
And that is so interesting.
So tell our audience about your childcare center and why you're different from other centers in your area.
Well, our center is the first center in our area that ever got a 5-star quality rating star rating with the state. So we're the first ones who did that. I think we're always the ones that are first on doing a lot of the things that come up. We try it first, and then everybody comes. I was one of the first ones that took into state assistance kids. A lot of people didn't do that. They weren't doing the food program. So they've called me over the years and asked me, how do you do it and how do you get involved? And they've had some other people would tell them, oh, it's horrible. You don't want to do that. You don't. And then they call me and I'll be like, okay, it's hard when you first start, but once you get into it, it's not that bad. It's like the first year, you have your, things, trials to learn how to do something. But after that, you can do it. So that's one of the things that we do. And then a lot of my employees have been with me for years. They have been with me. I have a lot of them that have been with me for 5 years, 10 years, and I even have some that are 20. So that is one of the things that the parents really like, is that we have consistent care at our center.
I love that, Nancy, how you're the trendsetter in your area. We feel like we're the same thing at ours, where we start something and then everybody tends to copy behind us. And that's okay. And it's not a bad thing to be number one and be the one that people follow. So I think that's amazing and laudable for sure.
And when I first got into childcare assistance, a lot of my staff was against it. They were like, "Oh my God, you're gonna bring in people that we don't want, blah blah blah." And so I had to tell them at one time. I had to sit them all down and said, "Let me explain something to you, that God forbid if something would happen to your spouse at this time, you would be on childcare assistance. So it's not all what you think. These are people who need help, and we're gonna do what we have to do to help them." And that's how we got into that.
And we feel the same way, because when we first started childcare, we could have afforded childcare assistance. That would have been us on subsidy, if we had, kids in care, that would have been us.
Yeah.
And we've always decided that we would want, because those children need quality care too.
Yeah.
And we never discriminated in that regards. I've met people that do that, and I'm like, just something that we've never done.
Yeah. And then the
Because
thing was, what got me into it was I was doing foster care at the time. And for me to find a place for my kids to go, there just wasn't any place that was of quality at all that would take childcare assistance. It was just horrible what I had to pick from. And I'm like, this is not right, So that's how I really got into it, was because I had my foster kids and I was just trying to find a place for them to go. And then after that, then when I changed my center and I had explained to my teachers, like, this is not just, this is something we can make a difference in everybody's lives. It's not, you could be on it in a heartbeat. You just don't know.
Well, Carol and I have both been to your school, and we love it. It's a beautiful school, and we never saw anything negative in there. And we watched all your children play, interact, and you've done amazing with your children in your school, and you got a great staff too. Going right into segue into my next question is, you were selected as the salutatorian for the Child Care Genius University coaching program this year. You got awarded at our annual live conference in Vegas. What was your reaction when your name was read?
I was really surprised and honored at the same time. And what made it really a moment to really remember was that my daughter had received the Director of the Year award just before that. And it was funny because she got up and she got her award. And she came back, she sat down. She said, "Did you know that?" I'm like, "No, I didn't know." And then y'all called me up for the salutatory. Well, then I knew you didn't know anything at that point. So it was really fun. It was a really fun experience. It was fun to share the stage with her and to be recognized for our contributions to, childcare. And it was a heartwarming experience. And it really enforced the importance of our work with the impact that we have on kids and the families that are at our center. It was really, really nice experience. I appreciate it.
Oh, you well deserved. You're one of the hardest working people in our university program. You're always on calls, you're always seeking knowledge, you're always asking questions, and you're always trying to get, a little bit of edge to make your center the best. And your daughter Leanne has done amazing work on the director side. I always get compliments from Christine, who is our team coach, and how great she is, how much engaged she is on the calls, asking questions, always there, willing to help other people. So, the acorn or the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And you've done a great job with Leanne. We enjoyed meeting her when we were down there, seeing her in action. And the girl's just a really good director.
I've had to fire her a bunch of times, but we're doing good.
Says any mom that has hired their kids has fired them at least once, if not 25 times.
Yeah.
We're in the same boat. We always tend to hire them back, though.
Yeah. But she's doing a really good job. She's really, I think the coaching that you guys are doing with her has really given her a lot of confidence, and she's taken the reins in her own hands and it's come to me saying, "Look, this is what I'm doing," so she's doing good.
Yeah, one of the advantages of our coaching program is we coach the directors as well. So by having both of you coaching, we're coaching you parallel tracks, but in those parallel tracks, we're both, bringing to a really good place in your business, and we know what your goals are, and we work towards them, and that's I think that's one of the things that separates us from other coaching programs.
Yes.
And you've been in our coaching program for close to 3 years. How has coaching helped you the most?
So it's been really transformative to me. It's been really rewarding and transformative. It's allowed me to deepen my knowledge on how to do things as a business way of doing it. And it's really made me make some really good connections with other people that are in the same position as me. And it makes you have an understanding that you're not in this alone, that there's other things that are going and other people going through the same thing as you. And it's really nice to have support when you're in a situation and you're not really sure if you're handling it right, and to be able to pass it by some other people and that they can stand behind you or let you know that you're doing it wrong, that there's a lot. That's a big thing, is getting away from making a lot of mistakes that you would normally make if you don't know. So a lot of times you go in there and other people have been through what you've been through, so you're not going to make the mistakes of some of the mistakes they made. You can learn from their mistakes instead of you having to make them and learn again. So it's been really good.
Awesome. Well, we love having you. I love coaching you personally. Like I said, our site visit was really eye-opening to see you in action and see how your school goes. And sometimes when you're coaching somebody, it changes everything once you see it in action and you actually could see and picture. And when you did your expansion, I pictured it in my mind, but it was completely different when I saw it in person than I imagined it, and much better live than in my head I imagined. It's no comparison when you can see a school versus when you cannot see a school, for sure. So now we've been to many places together. We've been to Jamaica a couple times together. We've been to Mexico. We've been to Vegas a few times. Like, you've come to our conferences. You're a good conference attender. We have an upcoming conference coming up in September in Mexico, and you and I were there with your husband in January. We were just there, and it's such a great relaxing vacation, work vacation. But we have our high level, our leverage conference coming up September 29th to October 2nd. What advice can you give to somebody coming to Mexico? Should they look forward to coming? And is there anything to be concerned about?
There's nothing to be concerned about. I felt very safe in Mexico. Going to and from the resort and actually going on the excursion was a lot. That was a really good excursion. That was really fun. So that was really great. It's beautiful. The water is just absolutely gorgeous. The view's perfect. And, to go to that beautiful facility and get everything that you're going to learn, the information you're going to get from everybody else. And then on top of that, be in the most beautiful place you could be. I'm a beach person, so
Yeah.
I will always be where I can enjoy that. But the combination of the beautiful setting and all the learning you get is just immeasurable, really, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know what I read yesterday? I was doing some research on Riviera Maya, which is where we're going. You know, statistically, it's safer going to Riviera Maya, Mexico than it is Orlando, Florida. So
Oh,
you don't
wow.
think of ever being, you know, oh, I would always bring my kids to Orlando, Florida. But you
Mhm.
know, some people are like, I wouldn't bring my kids to Mexico. It's actually, you know, where we're going is actually safer than Orlando, Atlanta, LA, New York, Chicago, any major American city. It's actually statistically safer to vacation in Mexico. So it obviously depends where you go, just like an American city depends where you go. Where we go, Riviera Maya is very secure. So
Yeah.
if anybody had a question on safety, just trust us that it is a safe place to go.
Yeah. I felt safe. I mean,
Yeah.
We focus on improving your mindset in the Child Care Genius University. How has your mindset changed since you joined CCGU?
my mindset has changed dramatically. It's been a significant transformation, and that it's improved my with the books that you gave us. Basically, you've been sending us those books every month. So, and I've been reading them. It's transformed the way I do everything. I wake up. I don't do the 5 o'clock, the 5 a.m. club, but I do the 6.
Yeah.
So, and I'm at the point where my eyes open automatically at 6 o'clock. I get up and I read the books that you send me, and I've bought some other books in addition to it. But it's really changed the way I approach things. I'm more calm. Um, I look at things, I guess, from a different perspective completely. It's just not overwhelming to me. I've learned that it's not as important as what as intense as it is that I would have taken it. It's that my mind is more calm and more relaxed, and it's made me have a better professional and personal life. Really, to be honest with you, it's just transformative. But and I had my doubts. To be honest with you, I'm like, okay, I'll read it. The first 2 books were hard. I will say I had a hard, but then after that, the rest has been really easy. I'll sit down and I get obsessed with them. It's like, because I always say, I'm going to read one chapter. That's what I start off every morning, to read one chapter, but most of the time it ends up being at least 2. So they have been really, really, really great idea.
I love that, Nancy. And you know, I was the same way. It's hard for me to sit down and read, but I'm really addicted to it now. And Carol and I read about an hour and a half every single morning. And it used to be it was just a couple pages, you know, when we first started. We just really have gotten addicted to improving our mindset. And we think it's so important in our coaching program that we actually have a book of the month that we send to every member. And so we could all get on the same page, like we're all growing together. And it's amazing what it'll do to your personal life, to your marriage, to your family, to being a grandma, to being a mom. Like it changes everything in your perspective because you approach things with a different starting point. You know, when something negative happens in your life, you're starting from a more positive position. So there's usually a better outcome
Right.
when something negative happens to you. And we all have negative happen to us. But if you start negative from a negative position, you're going to probably end up with a negative outcome. But if you start negative when you already have a positive mindset, it changes everything. And you usually have a positive outcome with it. At least that's what I found out.
So
And
Brian, the other
Carol,
day we did that. You did your thing for the couples. So I was
yeah,
like, okay, Earl, we have our couple meeting we have to go to. And he's like, okay, whatever, rolling his eyes. I'm like, no, we're going to do it. And so we were driving at the time. We were coming back home from Florida. So I headed on the car, going. And so we stopped off at Buc-ee's to get, I don't know if you know what Buc-ee's is. It's a big
I
gas
know what
station.
Bucky's is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we stopped off at Buc-ee's. That's our standard stopping point. So we stopped off there to get gas and get snacks. And y'all was still going at the time. We still had 15 minutes left to you guys going. And I was shocked because he stayed with me to listen to it. And I was like, oh my God. So it was funny. He stayed, never complained. And then afterward, he says, it's nice listening to you guys from your perspective, and that it just gives you a good mindset, of how you communicate with each other and everything. So it was funny though. But I was surprised that he didn't get out and go pump the gas.
Way to
That's
go, Earl.
awesome.
2 thumbs up from me.
Yeah. And
What
he
Nancy's
enjoyed it.
referring Oh, I know it. What Nancy's referring to is Carol and I, we actually, one of the things we coach on is relationships, and we've done it for many years, and with a marriage ministry that we worked in. So we bring some of that into our coaching program and help couples with communication, which is usually the number one issue people struggle with in a relationship. So when in our coaching program, we coach the whole person. We don't just talk about childcare. Because if things are a mess in your personal life, they're going to be a mess in your childcare life, and it'll eventually transcend over. So we try to get the whole person and the whole thing going well. Love it. All right. So what advice would you give, Nancy, to somebody who's thinking of opening their very first childcare center?
So somebody who's opened their very first childcare center, they need to prioritize getting coaching and mentoring. I can't, I've done successful with my center and in life in general, but I can't imagine how far I would have been if I would have had a coach or a mentor behind me, and showing me the way and guiding me and encouraging me. And I just can't imagine the difference. I mean, coaching just makes a huge difference. And then, meeting other people in the group helps too. It just takes a lot of tension and anxiety off. It's well worth doing it. I think it should be mandatory.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to open a school, and it's harder when you're by yourself. We had to do it. You had to do it. Open our schools like with no help. And it's sure a lot easier to follow somebody who's already done it and help out. And that's great advice. I would definitely recommend, whether it's our coaching program or another one, there's a lot of great ones out there. Having somebody that can help you with the things you don't know, because you don't know a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And mistakes are costly, and mistakes could shut you down if you don't do the right order and right steps. There's a lot of government regulations and liability in our industry, and you could be shut down pretty easily if you do the wrong things. So we like to avoid that from happening.
Absolutely.
And it can just wear you out. It could just wear you out with just the tension, and it could just burn you really fast, make you exhausted when you really don't need to be. You can just ask someone else and have them stand behind you is the best thing ever.
Yeah, COVID was tough for a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and we're glad now things are starting to get normal and big mindsets are starting to come back. It's a little rough there for even owners were checked out. I think the team members checked out for 2 years during COVID, then the owners checked out last year, and I think they're starting to check back in and getting excited about childcare again. But it was been a rough couple years, but I'm glad we're on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad things are going well for you. So proud of you, Nancy. You're doing great. You and Earl are a great couple to work with, and your daughter, obviously, Nan. We want to thank you for taking time out of your busy life to spend a little time sharing your story and helping some people with decisions. And hopefully, I know you've helped people think a little bit differently about their business today, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate everything you guys helped me out with over the years. It's been great.
All right. Well, we'll see you in Mexico very soon.
Yeah.
And hopefully some of the listeners here will be joining us in Mexico.
Yep, they definitely need to. It's great.
All right. Have a good day, Nancy.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
you too. All right, thanks. Bye.
That was a good interview.
Very good interview.
Love Nancy. She's great. And Earl, way to go. Good job on sitting through our little cohort that we did there. So I'm actually impressed and proud. That's awesome. So if you need help in your childcare business and you'd like a free coaching call with one of my coaches on my team, we can do that for you. If you're a center owner and you are struggling in any area, whether it be finances, marketing, enrollment, mindset, you name it, we can help you with it. So just go to our website at childcaregenius.com, go to the coaching tab. And under the coaching tab, you'll see a thing that says, we'd like a free coaching call. And we'll be happy to give you a call, give you a little bit of help, no obligation. So go ahead and do that. And then we'll just conclude this episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your busy life to spend a little time with us.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.